Want to go back to the story of the week. Once we move past the Shedeur Sanders news of the NFL draft, story of the week was the meltdown of the Lakers in the NBA playoffs. In the first segment of this hour, we talked about the meltdown, JJ Redick, everything that went wrong. It's amazing what a difference 24 hours can make, though, because JJ Redick probably feeling some heat after that loss in the first round of the playoffs in 5 games. 24 hours later, though, wasn't feeling heat and was ready to pass the buck to somebody else. Mary Mack, play the sound.
I'll start with the offseason and the work that's required in an offseason to be in championship shape. And, we have a ways to go as a roster. And certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately is we have to get in championship shape.
That was JJ Redick, J-Mart, after losing in round 1. Now let me, you know what, I was going to make a joke, but I want to jump right into this. JJ Redick saying we need to get into championship shape. First he says, well, that applies to the whole team. But then he says, well, there are some guys that are in plenty good shape, but there are some guys that aren't good enough. And I guess I'll toss it over to you by saying this. Sounds like a pretty direct shot at Luka Doncic. And I think in life 2 things can be true. Yes, Luka needs to be in better shape. No, he is not the reason that they lost. And this certainly sounds to me like JJ Redick is trying to make Luka Doncic the fall guy. Do you hear the same thing when you hear that sound, J-Mart?
Yeah. The only reason why is because I have ears. Like, it's really obvious. It was almost telegraphed. And you mean, like, he said it first, and then he made sure to, like, specify. There's some people who are in good shape. LeBron, I'm talking about you, buddy. I'm not including you in this. Like, he's talking about everybody else. I mean, we know what he's doing. He's going with the media narrative. Like, the media has already told us that, and Nico Harrison, essentially, they've told us that Luka Doncic is a fat slob. Like, that's essentially what we've heard, that he's in hookah lounges and that he snacks on donuts all the time, basically, and that he's in bad shape, and that's why he's hurt all the time. He's got no stamina, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And so Redick goes straight with that. And honestly, whether true or not, that could be the most disrespectful way that you could possibly behave 24 hours after your team loses, because you basically made sure it wasn't on the star that's protected at all costs.
The only reason you have the job, by the way. The only reason you have the job.
Yeah, exactly right. And you don't just say, you know what, Minnesota's a good team and they got us this year. Or, I'd have had a lot of respect for you, JJ, if you had just started off and said, you know what, starts with me. I got to coach better. I've got to be better at my job. I got to make sure that our guys are more ready next year. There's work that we're going to have to do as a team, and it starts with me and it starts with our staff. Just say it. Like, no one is going to critique you for that comment. I don't understand why more people don't realize that sometimes when you humble yourself, or sometimes when you show that kind of contrition, that kind of self-awareness, you get grace from people. Mm-hmm. And people see you in a different light, and it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't make you look weak. It doesn't make you look soft. It doesn't do anything but make you look real, because we all saw it. Like, what was true was true. And if you just start out by taking some of the blame on yourself, that's going to be appreciated, not only by the people watching, but also the guys that you're coaching, from LeBron and Luka on down. But this whole thing needs to be pinned on somebody specifically so that other people are shielded. And the problem for JJ Redick is he's not willing to actually take any of that shrapnel. He's not. Like, he can't handle it. You could tell by the way he responds to questions that are asked. And he immediately jumped to the lowest hanging fruit that all his friends in the media have already been pushing out there for months. Anytime the Lakers lost a game, it was because Luka was out of shape. And anytime they won when Luka had 37, it was Kendrick Perkins on television saying, yeah, he had 37. I want to talk about your 37 points. I want to talk about the little things that help you win that you don't do, Luka. It's just like, this is so tired. and it becomes so easy to root against these Lakers, not because of anything about the personalities of a bunch of the guys on this team, but because there's just some insufferability that is just surrounding this squad all the time, both in the press and on the sidelines, and of course with LeBron and the way that he kind of passively aggressively makes sure that the buck never even comes close to him. But Redick's response right here again just reveals this whole thing is beyond him right now. It has nothing to do with his X's and O's knowledge or how many insider basketball terms that he can use to declare that he understands what he's saying. It's like the stock market is nowhere near as complicated as people make it out to be, but they use a completely different language so that it looks like they're the only ones that can handle it, that they're the only ones that can handle it. So when you start to look at investment banking, they use derivatives and credit default swaps and all this other kind of stuff. It's terminology that actually is pretty simple, but if you just say it out loud, you sound like an expert. So when JJ Redick's like, yeah, I could talk about all the reds that we could do and this, and he starts using all these terms that, are invented in, that are like basketball parlance that no one actually speaks like. It doesn't all of a sudden make you a brain. Like, what makes you a coach is leading. It is not leading to sit there and say, well, it starts with us being in shape. And I don't want to say his name, but his name is Luka Doncic. Actually, let me change that. It's Luka Doncic. Like he's giving it away without giving it away, and the fact that he doesn't name it actually is worse than him just calling Luka out by name. The whole thing is just gross, and it just shows again a very immature. And you saying that because I'm inexperienced? Absolutely, JJ Redick. That's exactly what I'm saying. And honestly, you should know better. As long as you played in the league and then in the media. I guess technically you covered in NBA Finals, although I only heard you speak for about a quarter's worth of that entire series when you were on commentary. But you were in the media and you saw all this and you saw the critique from a player's perspective. But here in this moment, you seem completely tone deaf to what it takes to actually lead and earn the respect of the people in your own locker room.
By the way, the guy that he didn't say was out of shape, but did say was out of shape, Luka Doncic, finished the series averaging 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5.8 assists on 35% shooting from 3. Led the team in scoring and assists, and obviously was second to LeBron. All I'll say really quick is I want to ask you a different question. When I heard that sound, what it sounded like to me, and I'm not somebody who has ever watched the show Survivor, but I know that they make alliances on that show all the time, and that sounded like I am making an alliance with LeBron where he is not going to publicly criticize me, but I'm not publicly going to criticize him. And Luka's going to be the fall guy. And, oh, by the way, we didn't even get to the LeBron comments about, I'd say we need more size, but my boy AD asked for a center, and he got so it's like, okay, so we'll blame that one on Pelinka, but this is on Doncic. And so let's go back to Luka really quick because I got to ask you, listen, I know that LeBron is 40 going on 41, and he's obviously on borrowed time. Luka is under contract for the 25-26 season, and then he has a player option for next year. I know we're a year away, and I know there's a possibility that at this time next year LeBron could be retiring and walking away from the NBA. I'll also say, if I'm Luka Doncic and I hear that in the exit interview that JJ Redick has with the media, I'm now spending the next 6 months sitting here saying, is this an organization I want to be part of? Is this a guy I want to be coached by? I think it completely changes the – because, listen, we all assume you trade for Luka, you're keeping him long-term, he's going to want to sign in L.A. If I'm Luka, I'm like, I want to play for this guy? When he just threw me under the bus after I averaged 37 and 6 in a 5-game series? I think Luka's going to spend the next 6 months sitting there saying, is this something I want to be part of beyond the 25-26 season?
So listen, I said this from at least like 3-4 games into his tenure with the Lakers. I remember texting you this, and it has not changed. My opinion on this hasn't changed. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look like he wants to be there. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to get traded. He didn't want to leave Dallas. He certainly, I don't think, wanted to go to L.A. I don't care whether LeBron knew it in advance or not and all this, and I don't really buy that he didn't, by the way. But past all of that, I don't think he wanted to be in the Lakers uniform. I don't think that he wants to play for JJ Redick. I don't think that he wants to play with LeBron James. I don't think that any of this is what he ideally wants as a basketball player. So what I would love to see from Luka Doncic, because here's the other thing, and we haven't really talked about this. Yeah, Luka's not in great shape. Like that is legitimately true. His physics, he may never be ripped to shreds. That may just not be the way that his body is built and all of that. And that's fine. But he's carrying too many pounds, and there are some things that can affect. And I completely get all of that. What I really like to see Luka do is throw the deuces to L.A., go somewhere else and play, and get in shape.
Yeah.
And just be like, no, you guys had me, but the way you treated me, thanks for waking me up, but I'm gonna be in a different bed. Like, I'm not gonna play for you. I'm not gonna be here. And then it ruins them for the future, because when LeBron then retires, then what do you have? And the Lakers would have earned it. But yeah, if you want the best out of Luka, I don't think that this is the method that does it. I don't think that trying to shame him publicly, I don't think that even being
trying to shame him publicly
passive-aggressive,
when he was awesome and you sucked, by the way. But keep going.
Yeah, all that true. I don't think that any of the way that the messaging has come across is the way to maintain a relationship. Luka doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that, like, you go negative with him and it's going to make him do the right thing. He feels like, to me, the guy that if you go negative with him and treat him like dirt while he's there, he's just going to shut down and be like, I'm going to go get mine, but I don't care about the rest of this. Like, the whole situation to me reads like, you talk about the next 6 months, I actually think there is a really good chance that Luka will be wearing a third jersey, that he's going to go somewhere else, because the Lakers have done everything in their power to throw the book at him now, and I don't know that he ever wanted to be there in the first place. In fact, I am on record saying I don't think he did, and I don't think he has ever looked, and I don't even mean comfortable, like he hates all his teammates or anything like that. This is not a situation that he asked for. It's not a situation that he wanted, and I think now that he's gotten there, he knows it's not where he wants to be. Like, there's nothing for him here.
Nothing for him here. I think it'll be interesting. He's obviously not going to do anything public for a long time, but I'll tell you what, if I was a Lakers beat writer, that'd be the first question that I'd be asking him the next time he has a media availability.